Running with Maverick and Wolfman. Hey guys, welcome back to another great episode. We've got your co-hosts Maverick and Wolfman today. We are going to get into motivation in the cold. If you're enjoying running with Maverick and Wolfman, make sure to like and share on Facebook, follow on Instagram. Let others know about the show so they can also enjoy. Thank you for the support. We appreciate it so much. Maverick here.
Wolfman here.
All right, we were asked to go over some ways to be motivated in the cold weather. Some people live where it's cold, and some people live where it's hot. And some people live where it's not either. It's neutral.
Or not. What?
But some people think it's cold, so we're going to go over cold stuff. Ready? First way to be motivated when it's cold. How do you get out there? How do you exercise? How do you get out of your house even? First thing, what do you have?
Me?
Good answer.
I don't like to be cold, so for me, gear. You get the right gear. With anything, if you've got the right gear, it makes it all that much easier. I like to be comfortable, so I like to be cold. So I got hats, gloves, jackets, windbreakers,
Mittens.
pants, tights, all kinds of stuff. I don't have any mittens. I had mittens when I was 6.
Like I said, mittens.
Yeah, I run with a cat sometimes.
So I'm going to take your answer of all that and put it into preparation. Prepare, right? So get your gear ready, have it set out. It's going to motivate you to go out the next morning if you have everything set out the night before and you have the proper attire, right?
Yep.
And remember, our phones that we're constantly looking at, they have apps with the weather. So you could look at the app and say, hey, it's going to be cold tomorrow. I'm going to get all my stuff out. I'm going to get my hat with my little bonnet on it. I'm going to get my mittens and my little 5-finger shoes to keep my toesies warm. What do you got next?
If at all possible in the wintertime, I try to run when the sun is out because it's already monotonous enough because everything's cold, white, and wet, and gray and gloomy. So if I can keep it out of the dark, I try to do that.
Okay, so I'm going to take your answer and I'm going to turn it into schedule. So schedule your run for a time that you are actually going to do it, a time where it maybe is a little warmer, a time when, like Wolfman said, maybe it's brighter out. It's more likely to give you good mood, get the job done, right?
Yeah. Ooh, like you were saying about the weather, another thing, since we're talking about scheduling, if you notice a snowstorm is supposed to be coming and you have the opportunity to get it in before that happens, it makes it that much easier because then you're not trying to run in a snowstorm or skipping your run altogether because it's just snowing too much.
Or if you meet, go out during the snowstorm. It'll be harder to run. Perfect.
I've done that before.
Just go out in the snow and just trek it through the snow. Yeah, it's a great time. Your legs won't be tired at all. It's not fatiguing. I don't understand. It's energizing.
Oh, the
All
one
that
year I was
snow.
doing
All that snow.
snow. The one year I was doing that run streak, it was the year we got like, I don't know, 2 or 3 feet of snow in like one clip here. And I spent all day like clearing the driveway, just trying to keep up with it. And then it finally, there was a lull in the storm. It didn't stop, but there was a lull. And I was like, I'm going to run for a mile. I did. And man, that was something. I got another one too.
Whenever you're ready.
It's nice to have somebody to run with, and the winter time, it makes it especially easier. There's been a few times already this winter, and it hasn't even been that bad, that my one buddy and I have run together, and we would not have run as far if we were running alone.
Right. So going out with a friend, scheduling with a friend.
Yep.
It's going to motivate you for sure because you're going to, for one, do it because you're not going to want to leave them high and dry. High and dry in the snow. Funny. And then you're going to be more like you said, more likely to go out, go further, have a better run. it's always better to run with somebody. You just get more out of it unless you're just lollygagging around.
Yeah. Oh, and the miserableness goes by so much smoother. Like tonight was cold, and we got out and we ran 3 miles up a grueling hill. And if I ran alone, I probably would have ran a mile. And if he ran alone, he said he probably would have run on the treadmill inside. So, we both got 3 miles in and weathered the storm.
What's a treadmill?
I don't know. I don't like those things. But there's another alternative. You've got a treadmill. Winter time's the time to use it. Set your TV on and watch your Netflix and treadmill and then chill.
All right, so we've got prepared schedule, friend. How about this one? I bet you didn't even think of that about this one. Sign up for a race.
I can say I didn't in the wintertime, but that's a good one.
Sign up for a race and then be motivated. I mean, you're gonna prepare more if you have something that you're actually doing, right?
Yeah.
So if you're just out there running miles in the cold, you're probably not going to be as motivated. But if you put some money on the line and schedule something to go compete somewhere, you're more likely to get out and have some better runs for sure.
Yeah. Training a guy, he'd run over 40 some marathons. And I said, what motivated you? So my buddy and I do a podcast. We're talking about motivation this week. What motivated you? And he said the competition. If I wanted to compete, I knew I had to get out there. Rain, snow, hot, cold, it didn't matter. If I knew I had to compete, I had to get out there.
That's it. That's it. Because you're not going to want to
Show's
run a
over. That's it.
race.
We're done.
That's it. We're done. Okay, I don't even know how many that
That's
was,
all we
but we're
need.
done, people. Hope you were listening. What was
No,
that?
sorry. I cut you off.
Quickest episode ever.
I cut you off. So
Goals. Set goals. If you set goals, you'll accomplish more no matter what it is. It's not even just running we're talking about. That's for everything. If you set some goals, you have something that you're working towards, something to achieve, more likely to do it. If you don't have any goals, you're not doing it. You're going to relax. You're going to watch Netflix, like Wolfman said. Wolfman loves Netflix.
Well, not really, but yeah.
Not really, but we're pretending for emphasis on on setting goals. Dang it. Work with
My
me.
goal is to get into Netflix.
Wolfman, work with me on this one. Just say, I love Netflix.
I love Netflix.
Okay,
not
thanks.
Yet sponsored.
Way to set that up.
I don't not like Netflix. I'm not a big TV guy in general. I'd rather watch a movie, which is what Netflix is. But Netflix is not my thing.
So movies aren't TV? I'm so confused.
I don't know.
I'd rather be in a movie than watch.
Let's just start over. Wolfman here.
What is the question? Answer the question. You want
goals
the truth?
Are good, yeah. You can't handle the truth. No, goals, that's good. Something else I thought was too, start with small goals, right? Like this is more if you're getting back into it, but you could do the same for the winter time. Like New Year's is coming up. What's everybody's New Year's resolution? They're going to get back into shape, right? And most people try to do too much, too fast, and you want to start easy. Maybe you want to run 3 out of 5 days. Then you get that under your belt and you say, all right, I'm going to run 5 out of 7 days. And you get that under your belt. And then you say, all right, I'm not going to run anything less than a mile. So you run a mile every day. And then you say, okay, now I'm going to run 2 miles every day. And then you shave yourself a little goatee and yeah, you look good.
So they're not going to be able to see that, but basically I was just mimicking Wolfman. We'll put a video out there at some point with that. I was just mimicking everything he said to try to get him to laugh and screw up. All right,
I held it pretty good.
Yeah, you did. You go, Wolfman. Now listen, how about this one? Ready? This is one that you probably didn't think of. Reward.
Elaborate. I mean, elaborate. What's the reward? How are you rewarding yourself?
Okay, this is what I like to do. I like to buy myself a nice little pair of 5-finger shoes. And if I do the mileage that I'm supposed to do and follow my schedule, I give myself those brand new pair of little socks to put on and run around in.
I thought you were gonna say you give yourself one toe.
No, but I mean, like it could be a new pair of shoes for you, socks, whatever.
Yeah.
It's the same thing for you. But a new pair of shoes it could be a pair of super shoes. It could be a new singlet. It could be a pair of shorts. It could be whatever. It's just some kind of reward for doing it. Like, okay, if I get out there and I do 3 days in a row, I'm going to buy myself lunch. Otherwise, I'm
Yeah.
going to eat peanut butter and jellies all week. Whatever you want to make it, but basically something that gives you motivation in the sense of a reward. Because think about it, we all perform better with that. If your boss says to you, "Hey, Wolfman, if you come in at 7 a.m. the next 5 days, I'm going to give you a $500 bonus," you'd be like, "Yeah, I'll be there. Sure. What's the difference? Do I have to stay
Yeah.
longer? No, no. I just want you to come in earlier. You can leave earlier. Just come in and I'll give you a bonus." You'd be like, "Yeah, well, that's just stupid. Of course, I'll take the bonus." But if there's no bonus and they're like, "Wolfman, come in at 7," and you usually start at 9, you're going to be like, "Why?" And they're going to be like,
Yeah.
"Well,
Oh
we just
yeah.
want you to start at 7 this week, all week." You're going to be like, "No way, man. You
And you're not
crazy?"
leaving earlier.
Oh, I got to tell you this. So I got a funny request. We're not going to do it tonight, but they want us to they want they want us to talk back and forth just with quotes from songs, like
Ooh.
conversational, but just quotes from songs, not even like anything else,
Do they
and
have to
see if
be
we can keep the
popular
conversation
songs,
going.
or it can just because I'm sure you and I both know a lot of songs that other people don't know. So, like, how would they know we're talking in song? Do they have to be popular songs, song titles? What are we talking
Not
here?
my problem.
So here's a fun tangent. So one time I had a coworker and I decided I'm gonna just talk to her in all questions all day, and
Great.
until she would catch on, and it went on so long, and she didn't catch on that if I ran out of questions, I would just leave the room. And it was, I guess, so later I found out like she started questioning herself, like, do I not know what I'm doing? Like, why does he keep asking me these questions?
She's
It
like,
was fantastic.
she's like, "Where's the TheraBand?" And you're like, "Yeah, do you know where the TheraBand is?"
That is exactly the kind of stuff I was doing. And like,
No, I
oh, it
don't.
was fantastic. And then all my other coworkers, of course, knew what I was doing. So anytime I would go in to talk to her, they would have to hide because they're all laughing at this point. And then, like I said, I would just leave. I would just stop mid conversation and leave because I ran out of questions.
I've done a little bit of that at times where I'll ask questions or I'll just keep with the same concept the whole time.
Yeah.
And some people catch on quickly and some people don't.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They have no idea you're talking about a movie or a song or something like that. They have no idea.
I had another actual point to what we were discussing with the motivation thing, and I forgot it, but that's okay. Totally worth it. Oh, that's funny.
We can move on to a different question.
Felt like I had another one for how to get yourself out there, keep yourself going, but I can't remember it now.
Try Tinder.
Maybe not. Perfect.
What are you drinking?
Mad Elf, Trogs, independent brewer, Pennsylvania. Holiday ale brewed with cherries and honey. Ooh. Kind of like you said with rewarding yourself. One cool thing was that Christmas is in the wintertime. Imagine that. And I would often get running gear, especially through college. And one of the first things I would do after we were done opening presents and stuff is put on some of that running gear, go for a run.
Bad idea. Yeah, no, for sure. Get that gear, take it out, get yourself something nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I worked hard for this.
Oh
Oh,
man.
you know what? I'm at the point where my shoes are like fried and I
Yeah.
got to get some new ones. Yeah. Yeah. That I don't know. Like the pair that I've been that kind of been buying is like they're nice, but then they just wear out really fast.
Sometimes I think they do that on purpose because they know you have to spend more money because like I don't know if I told you this or not, but the previous version of the five fingers I had like
Four
I
fingers.
don't know 800 some miles on, and then the more recent pair I had, they lasted a little over like 500 miles, and they broke down, and I didn't do anything different. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think they were just made a little not worse because they're still great shoes, but like I think they were just made a little different to where they just broke down a little easier, you know?
I don't wear five fingers.
Well, I just
Nope.
mean like shoes in general, the gear.
I still don't understand.
Yeah.
Can you tell
Science.
me? Can you tell me
Science.
like? Can you tell me like I've never run in my life? Can you explain to me that way?
Well, I mean, I don't know.
Can you now tell me like I'm 5 years old?
Uh, don't jump on the couch.
Now tell me like I'm an alien that just came to this world.
Retire, Yoda will. Miles long you run? Keep going and you will. Oh man.
Uh,
Um,
so is our show about teaching, like education, or about entertainment? Because the shows are pretty much about one or the other, or are we a combination of the two?
I think we're a combination of the two. I think the point of our show is to help guide people into it and show them that you can be successful and still have fun, and I don't know, kind of open running up to anybody. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to be an elite person to run. Like you can do it.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I don't know. I'm trying to think about that on my run too. Like, but I think I don't know. That's how I feel. The point of our show is that you can. It's a combination of fun and advice at the same time, and just trying to get people motivated to get out there and do something. And you know, you don't have to be a superstar to do it, and you're gonna feel better doing. Oh, that's what it was. The motivation to get out there in the wintertime. You know this too, listener. If you get out there and you do it, you're gonna feel so much better that you did it than if you didn't go out there and get your run in.
Unless you pull your hammy.
Don't pull your hammy.
But anywho,
One of the blogs I follow, woman's doing the same race I'm training for, and she says she usually drinks coffee, but being so early in the morning, she doesn't know that she's going to get coffee. Is there something else she should do the morning of to compensate for it or whatever? And I responded, don't do anything you have not already done or trained for. Don't change it. And I couldn't tell you the overwhelming response of people that said the same thing. Like, don't
absolutely.
race day, race day. Do not do anything different that you haven't already done. Don't do it.
Except run faster.
Yeah, faster and farther. But other than that, don't do anything different.
If you're going into a race, you want to run faster.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So it's really not that hard. I don't know why you're making it out to be so difficult.
Me? I didn't think I was. But yeah, some people do. Like, I don't, maybe it's because we're experienced in racing, but I don't know why you would consider changing something up entirely. You know what I mean?
Well, you got to remember that a lot of people are, like you said, they're not experienced in it, right? So if you're not experienced, you don't know that. You're like, well, this guy on a podcast said that he eats a sausage egg McMuffin or something, whatever the heck it is, croissant.
The sausage, egg, and cheese on croissant from Dunkin' Donuts.
I would never order that. It's just too much of a mouthful.
Mhm. No, I suppose that's probably true, and that's what these blogs are for.
It said to eat Dunkin' Donuts. I don't even understand that. A big coffee
Dunkin' Donuts and gallons of coffee.
and then run fast. This guy's
Yeah.
crazy. And don't wear shoes.
Fun. I mean, remember in college, I mean, it was kind of when they were coming out with some of this better gear for running in the cold weather and stuff. We'd even stop in like grocery stores and convenience stores and just warm up for a while because you get cold running that far for a while. But now the gear they make is phenomenal.
So I would say when I first started running, I would underdress
Hmm.
and not realize it. So I would be cold the whole entire time. And then at some point I was like, it doesn't really matter if I have an extra layer or two as far as my time or how hard I have to run. It's not going to matter. So just layer up. So then I would layer up more, and you don't want to be hot the whole time, but at the same time you don't want to be cold the whole time.
Yeah.
So I always use the rule that if I'm a little bit cold when I start and then I warm up in the first like 1 to 2 miles, I'll be fine the rest of the time.
Yeah.
But if I'm hot in the first mile, I have too much.
Yeah.
And if
I,
I'm cold by a 5K, then I probably didn't wear enough clothes. I'm gonna be cold the rest of the run. And that's
yeah.
typically a good rule for me, and that's what
Yeah.
I use.
No, I would agree with that. I think if you're warm and or sweating before you even start, you're overdressed. But I'm the same way. I don't mind being a little bit cold when I start because you're probably going to warm up. And the other thing I always keep in mind is that if I am getting too warm, especially now, like everything's got pockets. I think we talked about that earlier. Like everything's got so many pockets now. Like you can shed a layer and yeah, you got to carry it, but you were already planning on wearing it. So now you've shed it. So you're not, it's not on you and keeping you warm. You just still have it. So I would rather be overdressed than underdressed because you can always shed a layer. Or depending on where you're running, like sometimes I'll run back past my driveway and I'll drop stuff by the mailbox because I'm going by there, drop it off. It'll be there when I come back. Or I'll drop it off at a friend's house. And when I get back, I'll just text them like, hey, I dropped some clothes in your yard. I'll be back to get them later.
And he's like, why does this guy keep putting clothes in my yard? What is this
Well,
about? I do have a funny story. So my dad one time ran a race in, I believe it was February, but it wasn't as cold as he thought it was going to be. And my mom, she said that he's running and he's like totally overdressed, like just layers upon layers, winter hat, gloves, sweatshirts, like all this stuff. Like this is back in the day before they had like good gear, right?
yeah,
So he starts this race, and I forget if it was like a 10 miler. It was like something long, right? And my mom said that he just kept like removing clothes. Hat comes off, and he's just like throwing them on the course. Hat, gloves, sweatshirt, pants. Like so, after the race, they're just going around, just driving around, just collecting all my dad's clothes all over the whole course.
that's
And he was
wild.
like probably like the only person that shed that much clothes, but he was just dressed like he was running, in Antarctica and he was running
Yeah.
in New York.
I tell you what, my buddy and I ran a race one time in upstate New York, way upstate, and it was in January or February, and it was like a whiteout, right? And there's a picture of us together, and he has on a Boston singlet and shorts. That's it. And I've got on three shirts, two pairs of pants, a hat, and gloves. And it's like a
I would have
whiteout.
I would have wore bike shorts. I
It wasn't that same year, but it was the same race that a guy showed up in those bike shorts and won.
remember
Same
you were telling
race.
me about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what my buddy and I do, or at least he's the one that told me about this, but like at Boston, you have to check your gear in, but sometimes it's still rather cold. So I'll go to Salval or a thrift store and buy clothes, wear them for the start, and then take them off right at the start line so they're not in my checked gear. And then they just donate them back to a thrift store. So it's kind of a win-win. You get to stay warm longer and you've donated in the first place and then you're donating again.
Little do you know that everything at Salvation Army is from the marathon.
Probably. Probably.
We're gonna wrap it up there. All right, guys. Thanks for listening. keep running, keep motivated, go back, check the list, make sure you're doing all that stuff, and
Twice.
we will talk to you next week. Maverick and Wolfman running out.